he's rapper Drake.
He's trying to undermine.
I'm not undermining anything. Hey, he undermined his own hip-hop credentials when he was singing about how sad he is that the strippers don't actually love him in Marvin's Room. But hey, I'm not here to throw any shade at Drake. I'm just here to let America know who rapper superfan Drake is. That's all.
I'm with you, Drake. I got your back.
There you go. Well, Broussard probably plays with Drake in dominoes tournaments. Broussard's actually out in these streets with these folks. I don't actually run up on Drake so I can give my honest opinion. Broussard's got these relationships, 30 years media credibility. I ain't got all that.
And scene.
There you go.
Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in L.A. taking on the Rams. Another installment of Action Jackson as he continues his MVP push through the season. He finished 15 of 20 last night for 169 yards. He had 5 touchdowns, and if that wasn't enough, he added 95 more yards on the ground as the Ravens just mollywopped the Rams 45-6. That is their 7th straight win. Here's Lamar Jackson after his career night.
I'm trying to win the Super Bowl, and we taking the game at a time. I'm not worried about MVP, you know. If it come, it come. I'll be satisfied, but I'm trying to win the Super Bowl. That's a team award, and that's what I want.
Nick, are you surprised that Lamar Jackson is this good in his second year?
I'm shocked, and I believed in him. I didn't think he should change positions. I thought a lot of the narrative surrounding him was unfair and a little coded language, if I'm being totally honest, about whether or not he was going to be able to be the face of a franchise or process the information or if he should change position. We've heard that with quarterbacks before, and we know what it means. But I didn't think he would ever be a league MVP. If I did, I would have been saying he should go number 1. You know what I mean? Like, if I thought that he was that level of player, then no, even if you love Baker, then he should be the 2nd pick of the draft. And I wasn't arguing that. I thought he was clearly a first-round pick. I thought he was clearly better than Josh Allen. I thought you could make an argument for him over Sam Darnold. Now, I really liked Rosen. I look like a dope on that one. But no, I thought the knock on Lamar was not going to be durability, like I know a lot of people still have the concern. I thought the knock on Lamar was raw, and that if you needed him to play immediately, you were going to struggle. And usually if you're drafting the very top of the draft, you need him to play immediately. I loved him going to Baltimore because I didn't think he was going to play his first year. He was going to be able to kind of take Patrick Mahomes, by the way. The knock on him was raw, and he took almost his whole first year before he exploded in year 2. Lamar had half a season to learn. Then they won 7 out of 8 games and go into the playoffs. Then he took over, I guess, 6 out of 7 games because they were 4 and 5 when he took them over. This year, he learned from his failures, and thus far this season, he has been the best player in the league. Up until 10 days ago, I'd have said it was Russell Wilson, but Russell took a step back this week, even in a win. Lamar continues to be sensational. The first half of the year, he was doing it with a little passing and a lot of running. The last, 4 weeks, 13 touchdowns, 9 yards per attempt, a 140 rating. Yeah, I'm very surprised he is this good this quickly, and I'm surprised he's ever this good. I did not think league MVP was in the purview for him, even though I liked him a lot coming out of Louisville.
There are 2 people on earth that thought this could happen. That's it. Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh. And I have to give Harbaugh a lot of credit because he believed in him. In that playoff game last year against the Chargers,
when everyone was chanting for Flacco
to come in, he stuck with him. And he said after that game, he is our quarterback of the future. And this year, of course, he builds the whole offense around him. I am stunned. I'm sorry. I did not think Lamar Jackson could play quarterback like this in the NFL, even close to this. Number 1, I was concerned about his passing. And anybody that watched that playoff game I alluded to against the Chargers, there's no way you could have seen this coming. He completed 2 passes for 17 yards in the first half, and that was the only team that saw him twice. So I thought, okay, you get some film on him, because he had success, 6-1 in the regular season last year. But I felt like you get some film on him, you get used to him, you'll be able to stop him. So 1, I didn't see this passing ability coming from him, especially in one offseason. And 2, when John Harbaugh said this summer, he was asked, is he going to run more than Cam Newton's 139 times, which is Cam's career high? And Harbaugh said, take the over. I'm thinking he won't survive into December because we've never seen a quarterback, and he's small. You know, he may be built, of course, he's a football player, but he's still a small guy.
He's not
half the size of Cam Newton.
Right. Cam
Newton, in his 9th year, had really 8
close
to full season.
Is now breaking
and he's
down.
broken up.
Yep.
And so I didn't think he would be able to stay upright running the way he has. So I'm shocked. It opens up a whole new world for the NFL because we've seen maybe not a runner as good as Lamar, but there have been plenty of black running quarterbacks who could throw in college football.
And we were told they can't do it. And that if they did, if they were so brilliant in college that they forced their way into the NFL, a la Vince Young, a la Mike Vick. And I understand Vick derailed his own career with the off-field stuff before he had the rejuvenation in Philly. But those guys were told, okay, what you did in college, you cannot do it here. You run as a last resort. You are going to play a pro-style offense, which would be just as illogical as taking Matt Stafford when he was coming out of Georgia as just a pro-style drop back passer and saying, you know what, where you were drafted, you got to run the read option. We had been told for so long by people who are supposed to be the experts, this won't work. And then in Baltimore, I'm going to add another name who believed in him, Ozzie Newsome. You had Ozzie Newsome, a Hall of Fame player and a Hall of Fame front office guy with his final first-round pick ever trade up to get Lamar. And by the way, they believed in him, but they passed on him a number of times in that draft because they traded back a few times. So they didn't think he'd be this good this quickly, or they just had a really good inclination no one else was going to take him. But what they did was once they took him, they then said, we are going to go all in on this moment. Right. We're not going to worry about 5 years from now and the durability. We are also going to embrace the numbers and information. They bring in the kid from Yale who helps them decide in-game fourth down decisions when you have the most valuable fourth down weapon in football in Lamar. You elevate Greg Roman, who did what he did with Colin Kaepernick. You bring in Mark Ingram because you say we're going to be a smash-mouth running football team. You emphasize the tight ends because you need people who are going to be able to block and pass catch. And they simply said what I, to this day, and I know Vince had other issues, I think Vince Young's one of the saddest missed opportunities in league history because I think he could have been this. He's not the dynamic athlete
not
Lamar
quite
was.
This.
Well, a different version. I think a guy who could have absolutely taken the league by storm if you would have simply said, we saw you do it at Texas. We saw you do it against USC. It's similar to what the Texans, and I criticize the Texans, but they've done this with Deshaun. They said, what made you great at Clemson? You did it against Alabama. Why can't you do it in the NFL? And because those guys are having success, you're going to see more guys that look like Lamar. We're no longer going to accept, oh, well, it won't work. Right. Tell me why it won't work. Because in the past, the maxim had just been, it won't work, you got to trust us. Well, I don't trust you anymore because I'm seeing it work with Lamar, even if it's not a 10-year plan. Right. If it's just a 3-year plan, what if they win the damn Super Bowl this year?
To run this much, you may have to have blazing speed because I think with some guys in the past, it may be Vince Young, it hasn't worked. And I'll give you, he didn't get the full opportunity to just be himself. Yep. But the linebackers, obviously the defensive backers, they're so much faster in the NFL that guys you could run away from in college, you can't in the NFL. People thought Jackson would even have that problem. Obviously he doesn't, but other guys have. So you may have to have blazing speed to run as much as him.
But what you were seeing was guys this athletic that you'd say, here, try to fit into our system. And the Ravens opened it up and said, we're going to change the system. It was a different system under Joe Flacco. We're going to change the whole system to make it work for you. They catered to what his strengths are, and look how well they're doing.
If any other sport did what the NFL was doing for years, it'd be looked at as crazy. When Shaquille O'Neal was coming out of LSU, it was in the modern NBA, and like, listen, we play 5 out. Everyone shoots threes. So change what makes you and learn to shoot. But that is what they were doing in the league for so long, and we missed opportunities because of it. Lamar's not missing this one. It doesn't mean he's going to be the best quarterback in the league for the next 10 years, 5 years, or even 10 weeks. But he only has to be the best quarterback in the league for about the next 2 months and then win the damn Super Bowl.
All right, let's get back to the NBA now. Final story of the morning, LeBron James showcasing that he is the best in the game at year 17. He can still carry his team, the King finishing with 33 points, including 12 in the fourth quarter. That to go along with 14 assists last night. Lakers extend their win streak to 8 games. Here's LeBron after the win over the Spurs.
It's weird. I don't know. Every time I tell you guys that this is the best I felt, you guys kind of get like all right. And then I go out and I'm able to do what I do. But that's how I feel, man. I feel my spring, like I said, my quick twitch, my mind is sharp, my body is good. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the wine I'm drinking. keep drinking some more if I'm going to keep doing this.
Could be the wine, could be the time off, because he didn't play throughout the postseason last year. Who knows? Nick, how surprised are you by what LeBron's doing in year 17?
I'm not surprised LeBron's the best player in the league. LeBron's been the best player in the league since year 3, uninterrupted until last year when he suffered the one injury. I'm surprised how he's doing it. I'm surprised he's doing it not by playing the traditional LeBron point forward role, but by being a true point guard. That he's doing it while averaging the fewest points he's averaged in years because he's being such a distributor, and that he is this early in the season showing this much of a dedication on the defensive side of the ball for a team whose biggest strength is their defense. The reason the Lakers are the best record in the NBA is because they have the best defense in the NBA. Those things surprise me. And as you say LeBron's second greatest player ever, I say he's the greatest player ever.